This is the Podcast Express, and we're talking to whoever's listening out there. Welcome to 5 Minutes of Trouble, the only podcast on the internet that discusses the John Carpenter film Big Trouble in Little China 5 minutes at a time. I'm Josh Horowitz from the Wing Kong Exchange at www.wingkong.net.
And I'm your co-host, Brett Stillo, and I'm on the road this week in beautiful Portland, Oregon.
And we have a special guest this week on the Podcast Express. Asterios Kokkinos is here from New York Comic-Con live. Welcome, Asterios.
Hey, what's up? That is not a joke. I am walking the floor of New York Comic-Con because I'm here with a geek comedy publishing company that my buddies and I all run called Devastator Press. And so we've been here for 4 days selling books, and we are exhausted. So you're getting the perfect me right now.
That's awesome. Tell us about what it is you're doing over there.
Sure. Me and my old college buddies, we run a small business called Devastator Press. It's a small press. It is the only comedy publishing company in North America. We only publish funny books. And so if you want, you can go to devastatorpress.com, listeners, and take a look. Right now at New York Comic Con, we're premiering my new graphic novel, which is called Toys for Cheap. It is a fake It's a fake catalog of dangerous and insane toys. For example, instead of Teddy Ruxpin, you can buy Petty Ruxpin, which is a toy that just complains to you about how, like, well, why do I have to text Deborah first? Why doesn't Deborah ever text me first? Or like, oh, I got a new boss and he's younger than me, and like I'm gonna have to whip him into shape. And we also have the yo-yo, which is a staple of the gangsterous rap community. We've got Stretch the Truth Armstrong, the only toy that lies on its resume. Instead of the real Ghostbusters, we have the real Ghost Murderers.
Oh, no.
Because why bust ghosts when you can punish the dead? And again, the book is called Toys for Cheap. You can buy it on Amazon right now. And this is the official world premiere at New York Comic-Con.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, yeah, thank you again so much for coming on our show here, Asterios. Just for our listeners.
I've been looking forward to this forever.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan of Star Wars Minute. That's one of the things that inspired me to do this podcast. And just listening to Asterios when he was on that show, I knew that he had to be one of the guests that we brought on. Just awesome energy and good jokes and just good overall stuff. And what a film to put him on, but Big Trouble in Little China. And that's what we're going to be discussing right now. We are discussing minutes 55 through 60 of Big Trouble in Little China. These minutes start out with our heroes swimming underwater as Thunder and some Wing Kong guards shoot from above, and they end with a mysterious shaggy monster putting Gracie down in the tunnels. This is some crazy stuff that happens here, some really good lines. And let's start discussing it.
Yeah. Well, once again, this is a very damp movie. Our characters are wet.
That's true. These are another bunch of minutes where we have soaking wet characters.
Yeah. No wonder Kurt Russell got like pneumonia on this shoot.
Oh my God, are you serious?
He was sick. Josh, you remember like specifically, we've talked about this before, what scenes where, that's not stage sweat?
Yeah, no, it's not glycerin, it's not stage sweat. He was I guess he had a fever or something in some of these scenes. So I don't know. Is he soaking wet or is he just in a fever state?
I think it's a fever. Like when you think about all the scenes where he's rained on or he's in a pool.
Or he has dirty water splashed into his eyes.
Dirty water splashed into his eyes. And
but only to help him lose his blindness, guys. Come on. There's a reason he does it. He's been blinded by ancient kind of racist magic.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Is it special water or is he going to get cholera? We don't know.
You think about like all those takes he must have done. Like that was great. Now let's do one for safety. And
safety being the worst word you can use. When nearly drowning Kurt Russell.
Yeah. So is it any wonder he got sick with whatever it was, flu, pneumonia, fever? Poor guy. Like I said, a very, very damp movie.
Indeed. Yeah.
Indeed.
Honestly,
Indeed.
the first thing I thought of when I saw this scene was just how little these actors must have been looking forward to it. I forget the name of the actress who plays the reporter, but when she's like, I don't want to get in the water, I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't want to get in the water either.
But you just get
I
shoved
just
right
want-
in, yeah.
Yeah, she sure does. That's so funny. She does that little pose where like she tries to take like a dive or something, but then she just like throws her body in. Or is that Kim Cattrall that does that? Either way, I'm attracted to
Oh
her.
yeah.
Oh my God, those two girls are like the yin and yang of hotness. I love it. One of them exists purely for exposition.
That's
And
true.
the other one exists purely for sex position. I love it.
Well, we're going to get to that as they go through the pipe. We get the first part in the sewer pipe. Notice, Gracie emerges, and then she does that whole "where's so-and-so" bit. It almost seems like something straight out of vaudeville.
Yeah.
And of course, with the perfect comic timing, the exact character that she asks about shows up next. I'm sure that must have been used in other movies or other shticks before.
Yeah. Now
I
don't wanna
really like that gag because it really breaks up the tension of, are these characters going to get murdered super well? like I don't know if it's that's the scene after, but it's like they get shot at a lot
Oh, yeah.
before they dive in that water. And by the way, I have never seen this movie before I was asked to be on this podcast.
Oh.
And actually, I thought it might be interesting to not watch it past these minutes. So I've only seen the first 60 minutes of this movie because I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Oh.
I don't know who this fur monster is. But it's like, it's the 80s. I'm looking at all these characters and I'm thinking to myself, to raise the stakes of the scene, they might kill this guy's brother. like they might just do it. I'm thinking how do you sell the danger? There's a lot of characters here. There's a reporter, there's a lawyer, there's Kurt Russell, and there's like these two brothers, and it's like, hey, you could probably knock one of these guys off the board right now.
Yeah, no, you don't know what's going to
Wow.
be happening at minute 94. I mean, oh man.
No.
Man, you're like, that's spoiler time bomb for you.
Yeah, I might have to skip minute 94. It might make me too sad.
Well, I wonder how many of our listeners are in the same boat, that they're listening to this literally 5 minutes at a time, and they still haven't seen anything past these minutes 55 through 60. Exciting.
Something tells me I'm the only person on earth who's dumb enough to do it this way. So I wouldn't worry about your listeners. They're probably a lot smarter than I am.
Well, I could get all Dennis Hopper speed on you for like the next couple of weeks and like threaten you with spoilers. Like, listen, sport, something's happening in minute 65, and I know when you don't. How does that feel, man? And that
I've
could be
never
the
been
basis of
more
a movie there.
You've just convinced me that is the scariest Dennis Hopper character. Get Lost, Blue Velvet.
Oh.
So long,
Get out.
oxygen huffing.
Yeah, get out the
rapist.
oxygen mask. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, exactly. Bring on the spoilers.
Let's see, though. Moving on in here, I noticed that there were some nice close quarters swimming through the sewer pipe shot. Just good visuals here. I mean, you really do get the sense that this is a very enclosed type area. It's you're looking, that's that sewer water. And then we get to the point where Gracie finally she can't find Jack. She yells out Jack, and my question is she close to tears or is she about to laugh hysterically?
I think on screen, close to tears. Possibly in real life, that was like take 13, and she was on the verge of cracking up. So, that's an old bit. It's, I'm so sad, and then you sort of turn your head away from the camera and let out a guffaw or a giggle or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Then we get the little ding though at that point in the soundtrack, and then Jack appears right next to Gracie. That's a bit of that thing where the soundtrack kind of mixes with a little bit of sound effects. That may be some of the Alan Howarth type of inspiration.
I guess that's the kind of trick you can pull when the director also scores the film.
That's true.
I mean, I can't believe how good this music is. I mean, I'm listening again. This is the first time. It's one of these movies. I just never got around to it. Everyone in college was like, "Oh, Big Trouble! Oh, Big Trouble! You gotta watch it. You gotta watch it. Carpenter." And it's just life happens. You can't watch everything. Like, I've only seen 3 episodes of Doctor Who for that reason. I'm sure it's awesome, but I have a lot of crap to watch. And the music is insane. It's so great in this movie. And to hear that was John Carpenter, the director, it's just like, well, what can't this guy do?
Yeah, we were talking about some of the music on a previous episode about how kind of very delightfully 80s synth it is, mixed with Eastern flair. Had you seen some of the other John Carpenter films, Asterios, and listened to the music in those?
I'm going to tell you guys, I'm a real big baby. Like, everybody says, watch the thing, and I'm like, no, I don't want to. Like, I'm scared. What if I become the thing? Like, I hear there's something where, like, the thing might be a dog or something, and it's like, no, I don't want that.
Yeah.
What are the other major films in the Carpenter canon?
Well, yeah, that's the problem, because most of them are scary. There's, Halloween.
Oh, no!
Yeah, and then The Fog and Christine. I know, okay. Here's one for you, Starman.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Starman. Yeah.
Starman, romantic comedy. Jeff Bridges, Karen Allen. It's a feel-good movie. Yeah, there you go.
Does Starman feature the David Bowie song Starman?
God, I can't remember. I don't think
like
so.
that song.
Yeah, the song's badass, but I can't. I don't think so. I don't.
That's my go-to karaoke track, by the way.
Ooh, that's a good go-to karaoke
There's a
track.
starman waiting in the sky. She'd like to come and meet us. I love that song.
Oh, good Bowie there.
Thank you. I've been
Bowie.
It's the only karaoke song I do. After that, I'm just like, I'm gonna let people think I know how to sing because I can sing this one song.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very good Bowie going on there. You got that whole, Starman. Yeah, it's kind of about singing through your nose.
It's like 90% nose, 10% cocaine.
Oh.
Love you, David Bowie.
Yeah.
But music-wise, I think that maybe Escape from New York, maybe They Live.
No.
Those two.
Oh,
those two
They Live was incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, I did see They Live. For Escape from New York, I'm real worried that they're not going to escape. And then Escape from LA, I'm even more worried because I believe the trailer told me that LA was way worse than New York.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? There's something even worse? No, I don't want to watch this.
Yeah.
I don't want
There's
to watch
something
somebody play that Russian roulette game where they throw a can up and then they murder 8 guys.
Oh.
See, this is why I like this movie. In our 5 minutes, it is heavily implied that Jack Burton has never killed anybody or shot a gun in his life. And I think it's the perfect reveal. Like, because the whole time Jack Burton's playing a real tough guy, he's a trucker, he wants his money, this, that, like, he acts like a real tough guy. And then suddenly you find out, like, oh, this is kind of just an act.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Yep.
we get to that. That was in previous minutes, I think, when Jack, he plugs that Wing Kong attacking Wang, and then Eddie says, first time you ever plugged someone? He's like, nah, of course not. But you know that it has been his first time.
It makes the character so much more likable. And, like, when he, like, refuses to kill the guards at the end of this 5 minutes when they're making their escape, like, he pays for that immediately by not, like, disarming the guards or murdering them. Because he's just, like, such a nice guy. The bus that they try to escape on gets full of lead.
Yeah.
Because he's like it's such a great character choice. Because in the 80s, you think, like, oh, I'm going to make the toughest of the tough guys. Like a Snake Plissken, I suppose. But you love Jack Burton. You love him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, he's that character's way ahead of his time. Because, in the 80s, I've said this before, this is the age of, this is Schwarzenegger at his peak and Sly at his peak, and they're all buff and indestructible and, throwing out the one-liners. And here's Kurt Russell totally making fun of those guys.
Yeah.
I know. Oh, it's so great.
Mm-hmm.
And he's so vulnerable. I think it's right before this, but when he almost falls, I mean, how funny is it that they put these guys in wheelchairs? Like, what a weirdly inspired choice. Like, we're going to tie these guys up. Like, where are we going to put them? Wheelchairs. It's like, why? Just to humiliate them? Like, why are you doing this?
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta love the
I
wheelchairs.
kind of wonder, maybe that was just a thing that John Carpenter had. It's like, put them in wheelchairs, old wheelchairs.
Yeah, it definitely works. It's like because that even it like we were saying before, where Gracie does the gag where the guys keep popping their heads up. It's like Carpenter even finds a way to cut the tension of them being tied up by putting them in wheelchairs. If they were in regular chairs, it would have been scarier. Wheelchairs, that's funny for some reason.
Yeah, classic.
Completely. Going back just a minute to that awesome kiss in the sewer and Jack's line.
Yep.
Which is, and I'm trying to remember exactly,
Oh, he's just happy. He's just happy to be alive. That's his excuse.
Yeah, sorry. I'm just thrilled to be alive. Yeah. And that whole, perfect Russell delivery. Mm-hmm. And that's particularly funny to me because way back in the day, Roger Ebert, when he was doing movie reviews in the 80s, he had this an 80s movie, and one of them is this thing he used to call "We're Alive, Let's Kiss," and it was exactly that. And you would say, "Hey, how come in High Road to China, Tom Selleck just he jumps into a ditch with the girl, and there's an explosion, and it's like they don't even like each other up until that point, but it's like let's kiss." And I almost wonder if that was Carpenter or W.D. Richter just saying hello to Roger Ebert. Hey, Roger, you watching our movie? Are you paying attention? Because that line is just it's totally, we're alive, let's kiss.
Yeah.
We have no other reason.
I think it's perfect for the Jack Burton character, though. I mean, he's a sly fox. He wants to get in his moves when he can. First it's a little hug, they have that little quick look, and then, he takes advantage of the situation. But then I like Gracie's line right afterwards. It almost feels like that Hawksian female type reply. She's like, oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Yeah, she almost turns into Betty Boop for a split second.
That's right.
Well, it's funny because it's like, well, that's Kim Cattrall, a super sexy lawyer, a guy probably tries to put the moves on her by the end of breakfast every day. It's just like, all right, she's a girl in New York. She's used to it. She's used to almost getting murdered and then guys taking advantage of the almost murder situation to slip her the tongue. She's not gonna fall for this.
But then Jack keeps it up, and then he does that whole thing. He's like, oh, I can't concentrate when you're rubbing your body against mine. Another sort of pure Jack type situation. And he probably messed up his chances with Gracie at that point, at least temporarily, because he was trying to push his luck a bit much.
No, I disagree. You gotta show interest. You gotta make the move, because even if the girl doesn't, even if she's not interested, she's gonna be impressed that you took the initiative a little bit. Just like my hero, Donald Trump. No. who offers people Tic Tacs and then takes them to Kiss Town. Oh boy, can't wait. Donald Trump, next president. Oh brother.
That's an interesting point because right now this podcast is being recorded before the election.
That's right.
Yeah, this might not be funny at all. Oh God, you might have to cut all of this out if you win.
For fear of your life.
Oh dear.
The secret police are coming for you, Asterios.
Yeah,
we heard what you said. Yeah,
We heard you made some gigantic errors in a podcast. Big, huge errors.
Well, moving along in the minutes, so we emerge out of the sewers. We get some really cool lighting. The water reflecting on their faces, and then we get one of the best lines. I like to use this every now and then, where Jack just says, "Okay, everybody relax. I'm here." Nobody really cares. He's just saying that out there. That's Jack. Great line.
Gotta love Jack Burton. But I think, when we watch, when we do these podcasts, we watch these 5-minute blocks 2, 3, 4 times. Now, that was one time, that's a classic Jack line. But I did almost want to punch him. Will you shut up? We're deep in the bowels of the Wing Kong. We still got a long way to go. You really haven't done that much here so far. But he's still Jack, so.
Yeah, definitely is.
And then, Wang has that line. I almost wondered if that was an actual, goof up that they kept in the film when, Wang says, what do you call this place? And Jack goes, a sewer. What do you call that water that doesn't smell real good? Sewage, so.
Now notice that they don't mention something, and they don't mention where's Miao Yin. And this is something...
Oh, my God, you're right.
It's like they've almost forgotten about it. Now, Asterios, I have the screenplay from this, as written by W.D. Richter. There's a bunch of cut scenes and other alternate lines in that one. In the screenplay, they do repeat this. Actually, Gracie is the one who keeps saying, come on, where's Miao Yin? Until Wang finally says, Egg Shen is the only one with the power to save Miao Yin now. They need magic to basically get them out of this mess, and so they're going to go to Egg Shen. But they don't have that in the final version. I guess they thought that was too much.
It's so funny. I didn't even consider that until you pointed it out. I mean, this whole operation is saving the girl with the green eyes. And, yeah, they just kind of bail. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I mean, they were able to rescue the I guess the trapped Chinese women out of the prison. So I mean, they have that, but yeah, they didn't do what they wanted.
So honestly, quantity-wise, they're like the best heroes ever. They saved like 10 girls.
Yeah.
So one got left behind. Look, it's a numbers game, guys. One of those girls probably has green eyes that escaped, right?
Yeah. Quantity, not quality.
There you go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like how those girls start screaming right away in the most 80s way possible when they get freed from those jail cells.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, yeah, you guys might not want to bring a lot of attention to yourselves. Oh, no, you're just going to, like, scream as if you're huge idiots. Okay, that's fine. It's the 80s. We don't, that's fine.
So then we're going to get to a part that I noticed this after just multiple rewatchings of this film. A little continuity fun. So Jack comes up on top. Notice, he's soaking wet as he removes the grate, and that makes sense. So he exits at around a minute and 45 seconds. He reaches the door and signals 8 seconds later, and then immediately 9 people run down the hall at once. They don't seem that wet. They immediately just show up. They're almost dry, and they did a quick clown car type approach. So,
Oh yeah.
something to watch. They climb very fast.
Yeah, that's like a classic, Hollywood bit that, you've been swimming for your life, and then within 10 seconds you're almost dry. I mean, Mark Hamill in the garbage compactor scene in Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
It's like, boy, he dried off fast.
Yeah.
Well, and
know.
also he's wearing like a terry cloth bathrobe. Like, if anything's going to keep water, it's going to be that.
Then we get some sort of really cool Jack lines as he tries to take charge while Wang translates. This again was one of my favorite parts in the movie growing up, and still is, where he's explaining the whole situation, false front, blah blah blah, and then he does this follow the leader thing, 1 2 3, and then we get the dramatic chord. And we get our Scooby-Doo moment. They're the bad guys just standing right there. They're just silent. Al Leong is there.
Right in the front, Al Leong.
None of them blink. And then I love how Jack just closes the door on them, even takes the time to lock it, and then says, we may be trapped.
Yeah,
Great.
We may be trapped.
Great stuff.
It's, It's the key to that word is we may be trapped.
Right.
Don't worry. There may be a problem, We might be taking on with the Titanic might be listing a little. We'll let you know.
It's really cool of those guards to not immediately start shooting so they can preserve the joke.
Exactly.
Those guards clearly took an improv class or two. God bless them. They're we gotta say yes.
Yeah. Well, do you think on the other side of the wall, so one of the Wing Kong said, "Oh, we should shoot him," and it's like, no, it'd be funnier if we bashed the wall down. Oh, you're right. Let's do that. Oh, this is gonna be so good.
Some great tension here.
Yeah.
Notice the nice disappointment reaction shot before all hell breaks loose. You see Gracie and the rest of them, and they're just like, oh. And it goes back. Yeah, in the sitcom version of Big Trouble in Little China, that's where you would have gotten an audience laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned it's a Scooby-Doo moment. The only thing that would have made it perfect is when everybody runs away like there's a split second where they're just running in place, and then they scram, and there's like a little cloud of dust that like follows them.
Oh
Yeah,
my
and then they go.
gosh.
Yeah, maybe one thing that's missing from Big Trouble in Little China is that little clouds of smoke after they take off, and but yeah, definitely. Maybe my favorite bit in the movie is that one.
Yeah.
And that's also the first clip I saw from this movie.
Really?
Yeah, a couple weeks before it opened, I was watching Entertainment Tonight or something like that. And, they were just doing a little preview, and that was the first clip I saw. And I said, yeah, that is a movie I want to see for sure.
Yeah, if they wanted to compete with Golden Child, that was the movie Asterios that this was kind of coming out at the same time back in 1986. Then yeah, this would be probably the clip to show. Like, hey, this is a fun-loving comedy.
Yeah.
I remember trying to watch The Golden Child as a kid and getting bored.
Uh-huh.
I don't think I would have been bored if I had watched this movie, because from minute one, it's hysterical. It's just Kurt Russell yelling into a CB microphone. It's so great.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing. Yeah, look, a golden child gets kidnapped or something. Yeah, you know what I care a lot more about? Hot green-eyed lady getting kidnapped.
There you go.
We gotta find this lady. She's so hot.
Yeah, good point. What's your priority for rescuing here? Cute kid, former playmate with green eyes. Josh, was she in Playboy or Penthouse?
I think it was Penthouse, yeah. She was a Penthouse pet in 1982 or something like that. Yeah. That's we're talking about Susie Pie.
It's like this movie was made just for me.
Yeah. Asterios, if you got to go for a few minutes and, look for Susie Pie, we'll understand. We'll still be here. Check her out on the internet.
Just keep the Skype. I'm going to put Skype on mute. I'll see you in 4 seconds.
Yeah. And then this is where we have, a Scooby-Doo scram sound effect. I'll be right back.
All of a sudden, my legs turn into a small tornado.
Yeah, exactly.
But then at that point, we get this cool point where, Jack tells him, "Oh, hide." And so then Wang is still in translation mode, so, he yells out "hide" in Chinese. But then I thought it was great how Wang then repeats that Chinese line in astonishment back to Jack.
Because it's the dumbest plan in the world. It's so stupid. Hide.
Yeah.
What are you buying yourself another 8 seconds of life?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
And Wang gets this, because this is where we start to really see the transition between sort of Wang as the mediocre hero to Wang as the hero in this thing. He stands next to Jack. He says, "All right, that's it. Do or die." Wang has really grown as a character at this point.
Yeah. That is like a really iconic moment there. The two of them together. It's like, this is a pretty cool team of adventurers right there. These two guys, Jack's got the gun, Wang's getting into a good kung fu pose. It's like, I'm betting on these guys. 2 against 20, 2 against 50, whatever. Double or nothing.
Double or nothing.
Nothing or double.
And it's a good thing the gun was still working after being underwater. I think it would have been amusing if it had jammed on Jack.
It's, again, this is the first time I'm seeing this movie. Wang killed so many dudes that I assumed he was going to die in this scene. Because there's the trope where it's like, you're in a movie, it's the last stand, your character's going out, but you take out 20 dudes before your character goes out. Kind of like in that episode of Battlestar Galactica where they got rid of the Pegasus. It's like, well, the Pegasus doesn't just go out like a Nancy ship. The Pegasus definitely takes out 3 base stars before it goes out. And so I'm thinking like, is this gonna be the moment where it kind of gets serious, where it's like, now Jack is on his own. He doesn't have the information. His friend just died. Now he can't get his $1,000. Like, I was so relieved when they ended on that great joke where Jack Burton turns out he did nothing.
Yeah. Ha! That's a really interesting point, because I see your perspective on that. Because, there's that scene in action movies where, the guy's surrounded and then he says something, "Get out of here!" And then it's like the minute a guy says, "Go on, get out of here," he's dead.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're never going to see that guy again. Yeah, he's going to get dogpiled, and that's it. Go on! Leave me! It's like, that's a line I will never use. Go on, leave me! Forget about me! It's like, come over here and help.
Here's a line I'll definitely use. Hide. And then I'll go hide.
Yeah, just that's good advice in any situation in real life. Just hide. That's a problem solver in 90% of any scenario you could get into. So,
Well, another note that I have here, if we're talking about body count in this film, so Jack plugs 3 Wing Kong, and if you'll remember, he plugged his first Wing Kong in an earlier minute, so now he's up to, what, 4 killed? I mean, there's not much he can do once the ammo's out, but yeah, I mean, there's his body count.
That's a funny little moment because we kind of go back and forth about, how helpful is Jack? He's a clumsy sidekick, and it's like, well, yeah, he did help by plugging 3 guys. That was 3 less guys for Wang to fight, and it did buy some time. It's it's just a funny little thing. It's like, well, there you go. Hey, he's killing people. He's helping.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking to myself like, well, is the gag of this movie going to be that the white tough guy actually does nothing? Because up until that point, he punched a guy who turned out to be magic, so it didn't hurt him. Like he successfully sneaks into a brothel dressed up as like a Chris Farley nerd and ends up getting captured. He runs over a dude who turns out to be a ghost, or who can ghost as a verb, I suppose. And so I'm watching this and I'm thinking to myself, this is pretty cool. I wonder if and then again, the moment where he shoots that one guy is an interesting turning point for his character. And then in this one, where he takes out those 3 guys who are trying to come in, that's a really cool turning point. But he can't. But like even after killing 3 dudes, they definitely make sure to make Wang cooler. Because like Wang doesn't just shoot guys, like he like really takes them out. And everyone that's coming at Wang has a weapon. Like every single person that's coming at him has some sort of saw or something.
That's true.
And so it's just neat. In a movie that stars Kurt Russell that was made in the early 80s, they are making sure not to make Kurt Russell the coolest character. It's so interesting.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's I'm seeing a pattern. I don't know if we've talked about this before, but it's almost like Jack knows when the camera's on him. And when the camera's on him, it's like, okay, then he blows it. It's just like anybody, who, you're doing a movie with and maybe not, they don't have a lot of acting experience. It's like, the camera comes on and then they're like, yeah, they freeze up. So like, when he shoots those 3 guys, it's like he doesn't know that the camera's on him. And then later on, when the big fight scene and he pulls out his knife and it flies across the room, it's like, okay, this is my big scene. Oops. So just, like you just got to tell Jack, okay, we're not rolling right now. Just go ahead and do it. You just never say action in front of Jack Burton.
He'll throw off his confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Just throw him off.
And speaking of the knife, it's, this whole movie so far, he's been trying to use this knife.
Good point.
He pulls it out right away during the funeral scene, like he's holding a knife, while people are shooting each other with machine guns, and then magic dudes show up, and it's like, I don't know what you're going to do with this knife, Jack.
Yeah.
And, he keeps going for it. He tries to pull out the knife. He immediately drops it. It's super duper funny. Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing what eventually he does with this.
Oh, yeah. Because you haven't seen the rest of it. Well, the knife is in a sense a character. I mean, he's going to be using this quite a bit. It will play a role. I don't want to spoil it for you because you're going to have to watch it. But yes, it will definitely play a role later.
Because you haven't seen the movie Sports. Mm-hmm. You don't know what's going to happen next. Yeah. Maybe I'll text you later and tell you what happens in the last scene with the knife. Maybe I won't.
Oh.
Maybe I'll call you tomorrow. You don't know when.
I'm going to have to put my iPhone in the toilet again. I just fished it out of there. I just got it out of the rice.
Well, speaking about the knife, I had a note here as well. I mean, notice how it just goes flying as if a super-powered magnet was just pulling it off screen. I mean, it doesn't just slip. It goes flying.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's much funnier that way.
Wow.
It it like slips out of his hand comically. It's so great.
And this was not in the screenplay. I was looking for that, but this was added later, and it's a good little bit. It helps to really explain why Wang is able to spend the time doing his awesome martial arts against the Wing Kong, and it sets it up for when Jack will reappear.
And I have a new theory now of conjecture. Like, if the knife's a character, maybe it's a magic knife. And then in that scene, Jack didn't lose his grip. The knife was like, I'm out of here. Mm-hmm. No, I don't fight lackeys. I have a much bigger purpose. So I'm saving myself for later, man. Yeah. I'm a magic knife, and if you use me on these, on these henchmen, it's a waste.
Maybe the knife slipping out, then it was the knife that wanted to do that. Almost like like how the lightsabers have a mind of their own in Star Wars sometimes. Yeah. The knife did not want him to get involved. He wanted, Wang to be able to, kick some ass against all those Wing Kong. Yeah. Interesting theory.
Or the other theory is that the knife knew that Jack Burton could not take these guys and would only get in the way.
Uh-huh.
And so the knife was like, come chase me for a while. So the professionals can handle this.
Oh, I really like that one. Yeah, the knife's looking out for Jack. So it's like, no. This is not our fight. Come here.
We'll have to mention this one to Mr. Pete Mummert, I think.
Yeah, Pete. Hi, Pete. Hi, Pete. The other possibility is, when the knife flies off screen, it went over to the craft services table. I'll be in my trailer.
Yeah.
What do you mean the knife's like, what do you mean you don't have a fish option? Oh, I'm not coming back to set until I see some cod or some salmon or something.
Somebody get some soft scrub. I need some buffing over here. I'm looking a little dull.
You notice how many Buddha statues are getting destroyed in this scene?
Oh, I thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
I was like, sacrilegious. I love it.
Bunch of Buddha statues destroyed by an axe. There's going to be another dozen or so destroyed around 3 minutes in. I'd say there's probably a big body count in this film, but there's probably an even bigger Buddha statue count. That's going to come up later as well.
Yeah, just like my favorite 80s action movie, Buddha counts. It's so interesting. I definitely noticed that. I didn't even think to say it, but when all those Buddha statues get killed, I'm like, oh, that's funny. Like this super peaceful guy who just kind of wants to sit around, walk the 8-gate-fold Lotus Path, is getting smashed up left and right by these magic ninjas.
Well, again, we gotta wait till later minutes when you'll see even more Buddhas and what happens with that. Last note I had about this part, really cool sound effects when Wang is facing off against Al Leong's character. Al does that double knife swipe, and you hear the cool type sound, and then Wang is very Luke Skywalker-like. He jumps up high, he grabs that pipe, and he delivers his knockout kick to Al Leong.
Yeah.
Just before Jack appears with his ha. And just perfect music punctuating the silence of the scene. You see that Wang has won the body count category with 6, and then he gets his great line. He just says, "Time to go."
Man, definitely Wang's cool moment.
Yep.
I hope he gets more of them because I really like that character. You feel so much for that actor.
Oh yeah.
Even though this is the first time you find out that he's very capable actually, but still, you feel so much for him. It's so he does such a good job.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, you've got to watch the rest of the film, Asterios. There's so many cool parts that are going to be coming. Yeah.
I can't wait because here's the thing. Right now, I am so confused still. I don't know who these big hats are that apparently I guess Mortal Kombat ripped off.
Yep.
I don't know why they need this girl. I get that she's kind of magic, I don't know I don't know jack about this movie. Oh. And it's so interesting to me. I'm just like Jack Burton. It's like I'm very confused. But I'm super entertained, and I'm attracted to Kim Cattrall.
Nice.
What more do you need?
Jack. What more do you need?
What more do you need?
This is a good insight into probably how many people who watched this film for the first time back in '86 thought. I think a lot of people were confused. They were entertained. And,
Yep.
And now we get it here. So thank you, Asterios, for being in this
No,
situation.
look, I really wanted to watch the rest of it because it's so entertaining. But I thought to myself, well, let me try to bring a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I cannot wait. Like, the moment I get off the phone, I'm going to finish watching this movie because it's so good. I'm not kidding. I have my laptop with me at Comic-Con. I have the movie. Like, I cannot wait.
Well, my last note about this part, I have a question about this that would have changed things a little bit. Now, when Jack opens the door, you do see Wing Kong, but if you look in the back, you do see that Thunder is there in the back. So my question is, why didn't Thunder join the fracas? I mean, he was standing there. That would have made it a lot more of an interesting, probably an unwinnable scenario. Where did he go? He just decided, I'll let these guys take over and I'll go and smoke my cigar.
Man. I wish I had a snappy one-liner, but I don't even have one for that. So
take
maybe
that. Take that, W.D. Richter. It's not a perfect script.
I mean, that is a really good point. There's definitely some sort of monster man in the sewers that they could have used. There's some sort of old guy who's got a magic melty face. Like there's three guys in cool straw hats. Like, where the hell? What's going on here? But I guess like hanging out to this jade-eyed girl isn't that important after all. If you're gonna kind of put these guys on break for 15 minutes.
Maybe Thunder knows something about Jack's magic knife.
No.
Maybe he's the one character.
Ooh.
And like, hey, wait a minute. That guy has a magic knife.
He got a chance to taste that steel against his neck in a previous scene. Remember when he jumped on his back just before he took that little ride in the wheelchairs?
Yeah. That's right. So he knows that that's a magic knife and the power that it holds. And
He doesn't want to get involved.
Yeah, so it's like I got to go check my straw hat, so I'll be back. I got to go check in with Lopan.
Right.
My straw. I gotta put some baby powder in my straw hat. It's getting a little sweaty.
Now moving on, we get now to the Wing Kong hallway. And notice that everybody except Jack seems pretty dry at this point. And we get the scene that Chew is there. He's pacing by Egg's bus, and he stopped out front. Kind of strange that nobody asked them what they were doing out there right in front of the Wing Kong. But that's okay, because we're going to move forward. And then we get the old eyes appearing in the painting trick with that statue.
Yep.
Never get tired of that one. And again, a bit of a Scooby-Doo moment.
That's right.
They aren't just they aren't just eyes. They are weird, round, googly eyes that are really far apart. That's watching it. Yeah, I think the first couple of times I saw it, I assumed that was like low pan. But then watching it this time, it's like those aren't normal human eyes. Those are crazy googly eyes. Those are Muppet eyes.
No,
that's true.
See, I thought it was the wheelchair, melty face, blow face guy. I thought it was that guy.
Yeah, Lopan.
Oh, that's Lopez. I don't know. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, as the basket case on wheels, as Jack refers to later. Yeah, versus the 10-foot tall roadblock that comes in the early minutes. Yeah, no, just thinking about that. I mean, it is very Scooby-Doo, and now I'm tempted to almost go back through the film and try to see just how many Scooby-Doo moments there are in this thing, because there are quite a bit. It's that sort of classic cartoony comedy, coming back to the whole that this is a comic book world.
No, Josh, you're a very busy man. You shouldn't have to go back. I challenge our listeners out there.
Yep.
Listeners, loyal listeners, if you really are a fan of this movie, let us know. Go back, go through it, count the Scooby-Doo moments. Let us know.
Yeah.
This is our challenge to you. If you really call yourself a fan of this movie, prove it now.
Put it up.
Find the Scooby-Doo moments.
On the 5 Minutes Truck Stop on Facebook, we can have a full Scooby-Doo discussion.
Yeah. We're gonna Scooby-Doo eyes this whole thing. There, I've said it.
There we go.
I haven't upset anybody. I need to take a little break now. I'm gonna be okay.
And then Jack moves on. He continues to try to do that phone repairman shtick with the guards. Despite the fact that he's soaking wet, he doesn't really look anything like he did when he first started. I'm wondering, could he have kept this up without even having done the gun bit? Maybe, they could have escaped and they wouldn't have had to had so many bullets inside of Peg's bus.
I just feel that that's an insight to Jack.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he thought the phone repairman bit was just genius. And it's like, you can almost picture him saying, hey, I know how we'll get out of here. It's like the phone repairman bit. I thought of it, so it's got to work. Don't worry, I'm here now. So, just like, he just can't let go of it. Again, if I was there, I would say, will you just stop? It didn't work the first time. It's not going to work again.
What? That brings up a good question. Is Jack really dumb or really smart?
Yes.
You can only... Oh, okay. Asked and answered.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's, yeah. I mean, I think he's, yes. That's why I'm sticking to that. Yes.
All right.
Little of both. Yeah.
Thank you guys for your insight. You are clearly masters of the form.
Yeah.
But somebody who didn't quite think things through, pure curious Gracie. If she had just kept up with all those guys, then she would have made it. But no, she has to look. She has to see what's going on. And then the hand grabs her, very Carpenter-esque, in the midst of all of this fracas type stuff going on.
Well, you know what? I'm going to come to Gracie's defense, and I'm actually going to say that actually it's all Jack's fault.
Yeah.
Because a little before that, what does he say to her? He said, "I'll take the lead."
Mm-hmm.
What does he say to her? You bring up the rear if you can do that.
Uh-huh.
Which that's not going to float with Gracie. It's like, oh well, fine, So he kind of sets her up for her own, recapture. So thanks a lot, Jack Burton.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, could be.
And now we are in a double damsel situation.
That's
where
right.
both of the super hot ladies who have appeared nude in Playboy or Pet House have been kidnapped.
Or on the bridge of the Enterprise, as we heard earlier.
Yeah.
Hello.
Asterios, don't mean to correct you on the podcast, but officially it's known as a double damsel dilemma. The triple D.
Ooh, a triple D situation.
Yeah, it is a triple D. I don't mean to call you out, but it is officially known as a double damsel dilemma, or the triple D. So we have entered that. You're right. We have officially entered the triple D.
And I thought that my favorite situation with Kim Cattrall would be double D. Whoa! Wow, I gotta go.
Uh-huh.
It's okay.
I'll see you later. Goodbye.
Man, that was hockey. I set it up and you dropped it in the net, man. That was wow. The double D. That trick.
Now, a note here about a little difference in the screenplay. In this one, instead of Jack holding point and them all running out, Jack grabs Wang Chi and puts a gun to his head, taking him hostage, just like what was done in previous minutes with Wang and Eddie. So they took an element from the script and they decided it felt better earlier on.
Okay.
So there's
That's funny.
There. Yeah.
It does work better earlier.
Yeah.
Because here it's just about go, go, go. It's like you don't want to stop the action.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so funny. Like even when they're running by those two security guards in the lobby, they don't take the time to disarm them, disconnect the phones. It's sort of as if Jack Burton knows, we got to keep this moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not thinking it through.
I could see the comedy of that, though. Again, it's Jack just sticking to the plan, even though when it's not relevant. It's like, what, again? With the hostage thing? Well, it didn't work that well the first time. Let's just go.
Yeah.
Go.
Now, notice that it doesn't take the guards that long to appear once they run out to the bus. You get very quickly 7 show up, and my thought is it's probably the same Wing Kong actors from before.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Instead of wearing the turbans, now they're wearing the guard outfits.
Oh, yeah. We got them on the set. Might as well use them again.
Mm-hmm.
And they managed to find every gun in the world.
Yeah, they have AK-47s just like the Wing Kong did. So there's a common theme there. I thought that it was cool. When we see the bus, it's a neat bus, actually. We didn't really talk about that too much, but notice it has multiple doors for every row of seats. I mean, it's like sort of like an old school bus. Otherwise, you'd have to see them, filing through in the front. It'd take a whole long time. But no, they run in. And then, all the shots they go off. We get those great damage shots of the bus with glass and sparks and everything there. Just neat stuff. I mean, this is something they had the budget, they used it, and it's good, cool pyrotechnics at that point.
Yeah. Now here's a little point, because we got to remember this is a fantasy movie. It's a cartoon. In real life, that bus would be just devastated by those bullets.
Yeah.
But so you can't think of that. But you hear what I think is that Egg has put a magic spell on the bus to protect it from the bullets.
Ah.
So we get some broken glass, we get a few dents, but nobody gets hurt, and the bus pulls away. I think this is what's really going on. Is Egg is using his magic powers.
There you
It's
go.
got some kind of force field. So minor damage, but he rolls away.
Yeah. No, that could work. Not a single scratch on anybody. No blood, nothing.
And proof of the stupidity of henchmen: nobody thinks to shoot the tires.
Of course not.
No.
But then there's a very careful shot of the bus as it leaves. If you look closely, you can see that the bus no longer has any damage in it in that scene. They're trying hard to show the other side of the bus to make sure that it's not damaged.
Ah. Well, once again, my theory, maybe it's not a force field. Maybe Egg it's a regenerating spell.
Aha.
So you can shoot my bus and it'll heal itself.
The magic school bus.
Or, here's my question. Oh. Well, I was going to say, if this is a Wing Kong bus that they're stealing, maybe it's bulletproof. Because it's traditionally used for nefarious purposes. So it's like, well, why not bulletproof it?
Oh, but wait a minute, though. This is the Egg bus. This is his tour bus. The yellow one. Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Well, maybe Egg's had some tours that have gone south.
That's a good point, too.
He invested in a Kevlar tour bus.
Yeah, if he goes down some of those alleys in Chinatown where they have those Tong Wars, maybe it's not a bad idea to have some bulletproof stuff in there.
Yeah, better safe than sorry. You got to protect your reputation as a tour bus guy. You can't have tourists getting plugged left and right in the internecine gang wars of Chinatown. Oh my God, there's so many gangs. I love all the gangs, and they all have cool different costumes.
And then we get Uncle Chu's line where he says, where's Miao Yin, after they're so happy that they escaped, that they made it. Here's another instance where if this was a sitcom, here's where you'd get the laugh track.
Or if this were an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm, it would cut to like bum 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 bum. Executive producer Larry David.
And that pretty much wraps up the 5 minutes. We're gonna get into the Chinese wild man coming later, but yeah. So Asterios, you got us through the 5 minutes. Thank you very much for coming on. This was great, and I certainly hope that you'll have a chance to watch the rest of the film.
Well, I want to thank you guys for booking me on this podcast, because if you didn't, I might never have seen this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I literally watched it so I could come on your show, and it is already one of the best things I've ever seen. I could not stop ranting about this movie last night at dinner with all my friends. I was like, have you heard of this movie, Big Trouble in Little China? And they were like, yeah. Yeah, we've heard of it. We've seen it. We're in our 30s. It's a movie you should have seen by now. And I'm like, yeah, but it's so good.
And Asterios, tell us again, tell our audience about what you wanted to plug for the stuff you're working on.
Definitely. Please go to Amazon.com, and I want you to search for Toys for Cheap. Use the number 4. You can also go to DevastatorPress.com. You can go to my Twitter, which is twitter.com/Asterios. That's spelled Asterios. And I got a new book that is premiering right here at New York Comic Con. It's called Toys for Cheap. It's a fake catalog of dangerous and insane toys. It was drawn by the lead artist for The Onion, an amazing guy named Jimmy Hasse. It's 56 pages, full color, gigantic. It's as big as my giant head. I'm so happy. So buy it based on size alone. And I want to thank you guys for having me on, because this is a blast. This was so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, man, for coming on. This was awesome.
You are awesome. And congratulations on the book.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'll have to check that out.
Sounds like a cool book, man. So, and have fun at the rest of the convention.
Yeah.
Will do, boys.
Thank you. And everybody, please visit us at 5minutesoftrouble.com. You can also check us out on Facebook at 5 Minutes of Trouble and Twitter at 5 Minutes Trouble. We have a listener society on Facebook. Check out the 5 Minutes of Trouble truck stop. And we're also on Stitcher. So please check all those things out. So thank you again, Asterios. And we're going to sign off here. This is the Podcast Express signing off. Tune in next week for another 5 Minutes of Trouble.
Let me help you with that. I'll get it. I'll be helping a girl put ketchup on her hot dog. Because she was tiny and she couldn't operate the machine.